Good evening, hello, and a very warm welcome to all the lovely audience who have tuned in to watch us live today. I'm Sharmista Parmar, the admin of Parent Station Ahmedabad. Welcome you all for today's expert talk. And the topic chosen for today's expert talk is separation anxiety in children. And I'm sure it's many parents' concern and question how to manage the separation anxiety in our kids. And to discuss and learn more about this, we have with us Miss Ajab. Yes, she's a trained clinical psychologist with 14 years of experience. She has specialized herself in identifying learning difficulties in children, and she has also designed curriculum to help them integrate organically into regular schools. She keeps imparting her knowledge to the teachers by conducting various workshops. And today she's here with us to help us learn about separation anxiety. Ajab, welcome to Parent Station once again.
Thank you so much, Sharmista, for giving me this opportunity once again. And I would like to thank Parent Station for inviting me again, wherein I can impart my knowledge and just see if I can change one life with it. It would be a success story. So thank you so much once again for giving me this opportunity. And as Sarmishta quoted, that separation anxiety is something which we are going to discuss today. This is something which we are facing recently, not only with young kids, those who are going to school for the first time, but I think basically with every kid who is going to school after such a long time. Because in COVID, the online schooling had given them that homeroom and comfort and environment where they were not at all out of their comfort zone. So here the separation anxiety is basically focused not only with their perspective of getting out of the house away from parents, but also getting out of their comfort zone. So this is where usually separation anxiety was considered for young kids going to school for first time or for a couple of years. Now it is across the border from K to 12, each and every child having it and facing. Sharmishta.
Yes. So, Ajab, childhood is supposed to be like fun, joy, musty, no worry. But still, we see alarming number of cases increasing for anxiety. Children are getting anxious. So, what is exactly? Just let us know what is first of all separation anxiety.
All right. So when we talk about separation anxiety, let us talk about general anxiety at first. That what is anxiety? When we talk about anxiety, anxiety is a situation in which the regular situation also puts a lot of pressure on us and we are not able to cope with it. So you have a feeling, and that feeling is responding in their bodily manner. So you start having sweat bouts, you feel that your heart is pumping blood very strongly, and with young kids they cannot generalize what's happening with them biologically, but then with elders they know that there is some unrest in their physical body. But when we go for a checkup, all the unrest are normal, body is perfectly fine, healthy, working, but still that unrest is something which the child is feeling. And not only child, anybody who's suffering from anxiety is feeling. But when we talk about separation anxiety, this is the specific time when the child is moved away from their comfort zone, away from their parents, away from their loved ones or caretaker, and they are put in a differential environment. Again, I'll not say only school or the place where they are going, any differential environment. Say, for example, if a child is moving away from parents due to some specific reason and has to stay with grandparents for a couple of time, that child can also have separation anxiety. So it's not only correlated with the situational, not only correlated with the school situation, it can be any situation where the child is staying away from the parents, loved ones, or caretaker. It's not always necessary that it is only associated with parents. It can be with the people of the house, grandparents, anywhere. And separation anxiety, as Sharmishta ma'am just said, that what it is the fear of not being able to cope up in their absence. This is what leads to anxiety. and that is the main cause or reason why a child goes through separation anxiety. They feel without this support system, they would not be able to cope up in any situation. So, if we can work on that perspective, this thing can be worked upon. As we go ahead, we'll go to how to work with it, how to correlate with it. But first is knowing the reason. So, this is a specific reason where the child does not have confidence in himself or herself that the child is able to cope up in a differential place, in a differential situation. This is where this anxiety starts up with.
Very rightly said, Ajab. But now during this COVID, you can understand with the child was supposed to go to play school, play group, okay, and play group भी घर पे ही हो गया, LKG भी घर पे हो गया. Now he is directly going to go to UKG. So that child, I don't know this much time which he has spent at home, and now suddenly when the schools are going to reopen, or maybe 6 more months, or whenever it's going to, so again they had a very good time at home. And नॉर्मल केसेस में हम देखते हैं फर्स्ट डे बच्चा रोता है या जो भी now after this so prolonged period they are going to really have a tough time. So
Okay.
what do you have to say this for parents specifically, how to?
Okay, so Sharmista, with this, I would like to go back to our Gurukul system, where we, as Indian culture, which is our very, very strong cultural heritage, where students, or well say children, who wanted to learn specific things, they were sent to Gurukuls. And the age for sending children to Gurukul was 7 years and not 2.5 years, which we do nowadays. So that is the plus point, that the child has already spent quality time with the parents. The child who has not gone to, say, playgroup or nursery or LKG, the child is already 4.5 or maybe 5 when the child is in senior KG or UKG. So they have spent quality time with their parents, and they are very progressive about their self. So in that perspective, it becomes very, very strong that the parents start working on their cognitions now. That, oh, we really love you. Whatever learning we could give you at this moment, we have achieved that. Now it is your time to get out and bird yourself. So this is something quite similar to the birds who are hatching. They'll feed their child, but when there is a time, they will also push them for the tree so that they can start flying. But then it cannot happen suddenly. It is a slow and gradual process. So as we know, maybe 6 months more or maybe post Diwali, we don't know anything about the situation. But these children who have never been to school, for them, so here the situations are different. For few children who have never been to school, or those who have been to school only for, say, 1 2 years and then suddenly they were home, for all of them the basic strategy is the same, that okay, you learned a lot at home, but we are not experts to teach you everything. Along with us, you need experts who can help you. So हमें बहुत, and don't pull yourself down by saying हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. No.
Mm.
We have given our fullest and we want you should have more. So for that more, we want you to go out and get help and get learning, which not only you, but you can come home and share with us also, so that we can also do. So this is the confidence we can give to the child. And a child who is going to nursery, for that child, it's everything is new. So with them, it is going to be separation anxiety, but then it is a very short-lived terminology, because they will be something who will be going out of the house for the first time. And with COVID, most of them have not gone out of the house only. So it's not school, but it's just getting out of the house.
I truly agree with that, which you said that the parents have to give them those lessons daily. You know, when my daughter was small, I did this. I just kept on telling her that, okay, let's go and buy a school bag. She happily purchased with me. What लेके आते हैं, tiffin लेके आते हैं. Now you are supposed to go to school from tomorrow, everything. But still, वो उसको रात को नाइटमेयर होते थे जब शी यूज टू लाइक से मुझे एप्पल वाली स्कूल सुबह भेजोगी तो नहीं ना दैट द लोगो वाज ऑफ एप्पल over there. So she could just speak out this much कि एप्पल वाली स्कूल मुझे सुबह भेजोगी तो नहीं ना. The sleepless night I can still recall.
Okay, whereas I had a completely different experience with my son. Day one, like I, as you said, that we did all the process that, oh, now you are going to school. And I said, see, Mom is also working. She goes to work. Papa's working. He goes to work. So now this is your kind of work which you are supposed to do. And don't you want to be a respected and a positive part of the family? He was just two, I suppose, two and a half. So you want to also be a respected and strong part of the family. So you also have to do and do your kind of work. And that was something, I'll be responsible, I'll go to school. So that is a positive way of putting it. Getting into the process is agreed upon, but how we take through the process, that is also equally important for us. And that is how we can make it more progressive for both the ends, giving that importance that going to school is really really necessary, like we all also do it. It's not that ONS is on them only कि तुम्हें स्कूल जाना है हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे, not like that. We do it as a part of parallel process.
But in that age it happens like being we being 24 hours with them, they just know us more. They feel we are very protective, even like for dad के पास भी नहीं जाना है, so even that thing happens कि अब मम्मी भी नहीं है वहाँ पे, just new school and new teachers and new everything. So that is the phase which they go through.
Yes. So in that, we have to be very careful and be very, very observant that the environment in which we are sending our child, is it something which is safe and equivalent. They will take time to adjustment, because any change is something which not for kids, for every
No.
one of us. Change is something which is really very difficult for us to grasp. So for them also, it is something which is very difficult. But then it will happen for a day or two, which is a very very normal phenomena. We don't have to get scared, and that is not separation anxiety, that is just getting adjusted with the process. When it comes down to separation anxiety, is the phase when this process goes on for a prolonged period of couple of weeks. Then it is termed as separation anxiety, which needs to be observed and worked upon. Separation from something, a simple, we get possessed with our materialistic things also.
Yeah, I was going to come to that because I had a parent who said that my daughter, she wants the same blanket. It's been so long, it's got ruined also, but she wants the same blanket. Uske bina wo nahi soegi. Somebody has the thing with the soft toy that ye hi wala soft toy hi chahiye. So all those materialistic
Yes.
attachments are also.
So that's what, like, we get attached to those materialistic things which are something which is tangible, जो खत्म हो जाता है, but still we get so attached to them. So वहाँ से भी change is difficult, but then we go ahead and we cope with it and we work progressively towards it. तो यहाँ पे emotional stability के लिए भी, so we need to be very very, that's why I said that be very careful in which your child is going, the environment of the place where the child is going. Maybe the teacher is very loving, caring, all that stuff, or depending on how you feel your. And one more specific thing which you can be very very careful while you're working on the anxiety perspective or separation anxiety perspective of your child is that talk to them, don't ask questions, communicate with them where they can exactly share what they are going through. Because if you ask questions, you're spoon feeding them that मुझे इतना ही जानना है. Rather than
Mm.
that, just make it a point, free flow, तुम्हें जो बताना है बताओ. Then it will be much more progressive for the child to express their feelings, and then we can see whether the anxiety is prolonged, whether it is something which is a concern with my child, with my situation, or something which is a situational factor outside the safe space. So
Okay.
that way it becomes very, and this is something which every parent needs to do irrespective of age, two and a
Yes.
half or 16 or college going, whatever.
But so, Ajab, the query which clicks my mind is when do we term it as a disorder then?
Okay, so separation anxiety is not a disorder, it's a condition. It's not a
Okay.
disease. It's a mental health condition. So if it happens normally, like I can say, this is my personal example. And I think most of the people, those who have worked from home for a long time, when you had to go to office, you're like, this feeling we had. Of course, we could not verbalize it or not show it to anyone because we are grown up, we are mature people. So for them, the young child who is getting out of the home room, having it for a couple of days is okay. So while going, they will have all the tantrums. When they go there, they'll have all the tantrums. But as soon as they're in the environment with their friends, they are hale and hearty. That is perfectly fine for a couple
Hmm.
of days. As soon as it goes on for stipulated period from 3 to 6 weeks, then it is something which is some a thing to be addressed and worked upon and taken care from experts. That this is not a normal condition anymore, and my child has it has been 3 weeks, and every day either my child is growing or being crying or cranky or gloomy, and after coming also my child is not up to mark. These are the perspectives which we will have to be very very careful with. So minimum 3 weeks, max to 6 weeks. Please don't wait till 6 weeks. If it is continuous 3 weeks, please connect with an expert who can help you. And see, as I told you, it's not a disease, it's a condition. If worked upon, it can be easily remodified. It's just that we need the right key. And again, I cannot give one specific key to work with it because one key will not fit all the locks. So
Yeah.
every child will have different locks or different conditions. So we'll have to have different keys to deal with them. So
So
just be observant about it. Yeah, sure.
any specific symptoms whereby the parents can come to know that the child is going through this?
Yes. So when we talk about separation anxiety as a symptom, the first thing and the most foremost thing that the child is throwing a tantrum on the days when he or she has to go to school. All the other days, the tantrums on the days when there is no school, the tantrums are negligible. I'll not say the tantrum of waking up in the morning and getting ready for school, but overall tantrums. Throughout the day, also there are tantrums, and the day there are no schools, there are no tantrums. The child is hale and hearty. आज स्कूल नहीं है तो चलो सब अच्छा है. This is the first and the strongest symptom. Second is they might develop some biological things, which we term as psychosomatic also. That they are going through separation anxiety, they are scared of going to school or scared of getting out of the house. So the second thing, मुझे आज बहुत पेट दर्द. And see, when these children, when they say this, it's not that they are not having it. There are no biological reason, but it is purely psychosomatic, as having stomach ache or having a headache or developing feverish or feeling low, having puking sensations, having diarrhea sensations. Any psychosomatic thing is a symptom. And if it again prevails for psychosomatic symptoms can prevail from 1.5 to 3 weeks, and then it is something which becomes a concern. Usually, if it is separation anxiety and just the crying episode for a few couple of minutes up and down is something which can be worked up very easily, nothing to worry about. But if these kind of things start up, it's better we start taking care of it, or else it will be a problem for the parents.
So, what are the preventive measures which can be taken by the parents?
The first and foremost, which we already discussed, communicate with them before even the event is happening, not only just one day prior, but it can be an ongoing thing from the time we know that, say, for example, we know that in June, my child is planning to go to school. We are thinking, not my child, sorry, we are planning to send the child to school. The child is not planning to go to school. So, in that perspective, every 5 7 days, every 5 10 days, but just see schools are so nice. Which school you're planning to take an admission, you can just show around and go and show them the campus, make them comfortable already. So this is a pre thing which we can do with the child, keeping them updated because it's their life finally. Irrespective, they are our children, but then it's their life. If they are aware about what's going around, it will be much easier for them. So that can be one of the first thing which we can do. Communicating and asking their consent also. But a school is something which is for your knowledge, your upliftment, and we'll be very happy if we can go and learn there. You can come and teach us also. See, Mama is teaching you this, giving them a free hand that they can also have their say, and they can also prove and go ahead with it. That's the second thing. Third thing, there can be off days. There are times when we also don't feel like working and we do take an off day. The child can also have that. Without any reason, once in a while, if the child is not willing to go, you can still motivate the child not to go to the school. Okay, today you're not feeling okay, but then it should not be a habit. It could be just a verdict where you say that, oh, today you're not feeling. Can you give me a good reason about it? Or if it's just like that, I will appreciate it, But then this can be one time thing, not every time, better. That kind of a scenario. And understanding and being empathetic with your child, that is something which can like pull down the separation anxiety. And when we are talking about separation anxiety, I have one case which I would like to really share.
Sure.
This anxiety is with a child who has been to his college. So he is, after his 12th grade with this COVID, the board exams did not happen. He is studying in the US now. Every night, like our morning, their night, the child is calling, Mom, I'm crying every day. Whereas when the child was back in India, he was not even bothered where the mother is, what she's doing, how they are coping it. The mom would be around, beta aa joi le, aa kari le, aam joi le. He would be least bothered about it. But
Okay.
now there is a flip. So the separation anxiety, when the mother was there around, he did not even have it. And whenever I used to communicate with him, "હું તો ત્યાં જઈને જલસા કરીશ." So that was
Oh.
his perspective. But as soon as he went there and it hit, he started missing home and everything. So that is when, so the separation anxiety hit him. So it's not always in the initial years, it can happen across any age.
So, do this separation anxiety is with only toddlers, or do adults? As you gave the example, I can come to know adults. But I was just reading out something and said that the age group of 30 to 40 also is the age group where many of them face this anxiety issues. So, what do
Yes.
you have to say about it?
Okay, so I'll connect this with specific data. So there was a research which was conducted in McGill University in 2013, in which they were trying to work out the concept of separation anxiety. The age group which they took up was 16 to 24 years, and they were like, "कि इस age में देखते हैं separation anxiety का level क्या है." It was found out that 16 years were too occupied with their friends and they did not have the concept of separation anxiety, whereas 24 years had a very higher thing. They revived their research pattern and they took it from 32 to 42 years. And it was found out that individualistic society, again, we stay in a closed cultural society, so the statistics here would differ, but they stay in an individualistic society. So over there, separation anxiety was the highest between the age group of 32 to 42 years, which was around 60 to 63%, which is like really, really high. Toddlers can cry and vent it out and show that we are scared and we don't want to go in the new environment. Whereas for elders, they start developing psychosomatic anxiety correlated with depressive episodes, with something or the other symptom popping up in. So this again in India it would not be that strong because we have a joint family system, we have our kids staying with us, we have our in-laws staying with us. So with that age group, separation anxiety is not that strong. But imagine in this example which I quoted about this child studying in US, the mother is similarly crying that much. So the mother is also suffering from separation anxiety from her son. That it's not only the son who is facing it, it's also the mother, because it's vice versa. The child is missing in the same manner the mother is missing. So it's separation anxiety at both ends, not only from the child's perspective.
I was
And
going to ask you the same question because usually when we say that oh, आप बेफालतू की चिंता करते हो, so is it that chinta, or is it that because if children are away, suppose daughters are away till late night, or some or the other issues, they are abroad or maybe somewhere in other state, and we have that khaya nahi piya nahi pata nahi, so she's not well, maybe the day when she's not well, or we didn't receive the phone call, and that thing makes like कि today no call, she did not call me, oh where is she, so वो रहता है, and it literally happens that and dad will calm down कि नहीं हो जाएगा, so it is a चिंता वाला बात, or it's that anxiety, what is the
no,
symptom? It's
it is something which is a concern. I'll not even say chinta. As mother, we usually have concerns. We don't start panicking and start calling them frantically 100 times in an hour. So it's not anxiety. But as we talked about this, I have one perspective in correlation with mothers, not only for toddlers, but every age. As a mother, we have a fear कि मेरा बच्चा बाहर जाएगा, उसको सब ठीक से रखेंगे, उसको किसी ने कुछ कर दिया तो. We have that fear within us, which we never share it with our kids. But as mother, we give those vibes कि बेटा तू बाहर गया, मम्मी नहीं है, तेरा ध्यान कौन रखेगा? And those vibes, the child grasps it and it develops the anxiety of going out. So, as mothers, we might have all that fear. But as I told you, though your daughter has not called or though your son has not called, we don't get panicky and call them 100 times till the time they respond. But I have seen these kind of parents also, where they keep on calling till the child responds to their call.
Yes.
अरे मम्मा मीटिंग में था, बाद में फोन करता हूँ. अरे पहले फोन उठा के सिर्फ बोल तो देता मीटिंग में हूँ. These kind of moms. So we levy our fears on them. And see, the vibes, the aura is something which every child connects with the mother fluidly. Distance is not a perspective in this criteria. Wherever they are in the world, they can sense. कई बार हमें भी होता है कि मम्मा को कॉल करने का मन करता है और फिर मम्मा बोलेगी हाँ तेरे बारे में ही सोच रही थी. This is a very, very normal vibration which every child has, not only with mothers, but they have a similar rapport with the fathers as well, depending on how it is. So, here, the fears of the mothers are reflected on the children and it leads towards the anxiety criteria. So, one key, as you just said, keep your fears to yourself and think in a progressive manner that no, my child is safe, not only with me, but with the outside world also. I have trained my child in a way where my child can take care of itself. If you have that confidence, you will reflect that confidence on your child, and it will be very progressive for you.
Very true. So, does a child have a separation anxiety for gadgets?
Thank you so much for bringing this up. I was waiting for it. Not only child, if I take away your phone from you for, say, a day, you will be facing the same anxiety. So
Very true.
now when we talk about children moving back to school, it's not separation anxiety only with parents. अगर मैं स्कूल गया तो मुझे मोबाइल घर छोड़ के जाना पड़ेगा. That is also a strong anxiety. आज मैं स्कूल नहीं जा रहा हूँ, मैं ऑनलाइन क्लास ले लूंगा. Why? Because I can use my gadgets at that time. Because government has given an option of online, offline. Na?
Yes.
So they take full advantage of it. And yes, anxiety is not only correlated with your parents, loved ones, or caretakers, it is also correlated with materialistic things, which we just discussed. And gadgets have replaced so huge correlation with our life that we start seeing them as an integral part of us. मतलब उसके बिना तो मैं जिंदा कैसे रहूँ, मैं सांस लिए बिना शायद जिंदा रह लूंगा, बट मैं उसके बिना कैसे जिंदा रह लूंगा, that kind of a thing. So it can happen with gadgets too.
So again, what will you suggest for the parents? What has the parents to do with this? Like, because you and me both know mobile and other gadgets, they are being now so much addicted to it that it's no one can like क्या बोल के उनसे छुटकारा दिलाए या it's
So for this, this is one I can say Brahma Shastra, which we can say, where we can condition them before they have to actually leave it. कि बेटा स्क्रीन टाइम का एक लिमिटेशन, विल नॉट स्केड्यूल अ टाइम फ्रेम कि 12 से 1 बजे तक आप फोन देखोगे. We will give them hours, and luckily now the gadgets which are new, they have this lock system. You can condition your gadgets कि after a couple of hours they get locked on itself. So this is a key structure where you, with the consent of your child, can uh, show that okay, you said that you want to see have your screen time for 2 hours for this particular app, so that app will lock itself after 2 hours. It will not open for another 22 hours. So this is a very boon in disguise. But the phone will work only those specific, and for every specific apps you can have it for multiple things. So I have suggested this to people with higher mobile addiction, not only toddlers and young children, with adults too. Lock your apps, and they found it very progressive because you have to have a specific code which can unlock it if required. But then they say that remembering that code is a task and we don't want to keep it typed in our phone, we just make it a point that we just let it go. So it really works. This is one thing which, if you have that smart gadget, the other perspective, if you have a normal gadget or a laptop in which this particular thing is not practically possible, in that perspective it is something which you can build up a rapport with your child and tell them what exactly you experience with them. Okay bacha, you need 4 hours, I'll say you take 2 hours, 3 hours, and 1 hour will be your buffer time. Don't keep 4 hours in total, because 4 hour के बाद वो 1 hour buffer time वापस होने ही वाला है. So this is where I'll say balancing with your child, not only with your perspective, but then again, if you want de-addiction or not having separation anxiety for your kids from gadgets, it should start with you. You cannot
Very.
expect that
Yes.
you are using phone and you're saying, "Chalo so jao ab, phone rakho." So practice before you preach.
Yeah.
That works
You have
very
to be
well.
the role model first.
Yes. Yes, that and with gadgets, Sharmishta, you brought it very well. Where you said that with gadgets, separation anxiety is where I have seen children crib. एक 5 मिनट दे दो, सिर्फ एक 5 मिनट दे दो. जैसे ड्रग्स के साथ जैसे ड्रग एडिक्ट्स का होता है, that kind of an addiction, and that anxiety about letting go your device is like letting go of your personality,
Yeah.
which is very traumatic for the child. Really very traumatic.
Very true. Can you give some example about some age group about parents going through anxiety?
Yeah, okay. Anxiety is something which is a very normal phenomena, as I told you about separation, about multiple things. A parent overthinking can also lead to anxiety. And this anxiety is very, very strongly seen in parents of board exams. My child is going to face 10th grade, 12th grade. Oh my God, 12th में अगर इसके अच्छे मार्क्स नहीं आए तो ये क्या करेगा अपनी लाइफ में, कैसे जिएगा अपनी लाइफ में. And that anxiety weighs on them so much, so high, that they start ruining their health and also reflecting that on the others.
Very
Not only the child, I'll say the whole environment. The husband is also in that boat, the in-laws are in that boat, everyone is in the same sphere. So that anxiety is something which is their personal perspective, their personal observation levied onto others around them. And that is where it becomes a strong perspective. And parent anxiety, separation anxiety about parents is usually the care, or I'll say nurture, which I have given to my child correlated with it. So this is where it becomes my strength and my strengthful perspective. And anxiety is no way healthy. It's not going to give results. It's rather going to pull you down. So be careful, be cautious, be vocal, and that way it can be very progressive.
So it's going to go with practice or what or any medication, how long it stays if somebody is facing this.
Okay, so to start with anxiety as a condition, if it prevails, as I said, from 3 to 6 weeks, you consult an expert. And if it is just an initial phase, it can go away, or I'll say the person can be able to manage with it or help a child with anxiety manage it with only counselings and therapeutic sessions. But if it is a prolonged condition, say for example, more than 3 months, which is almost 12 weeks, then some kind of medications will help them calm down, and then therapeutic setups can really, really imbibe in them. So, and as I told you, if we are observant, if we start working when they are in just week 3, we don't need to reach to the medical setup. Otherwise, if it gets really tribal by 3 months, then it is a sure shot thing that we might need a medical, a mild anti-anxiety. But still, why to have reach? So आग लगने की वेट क्यों करनी है, पहले से कुआ खोद के रखते हैं ना.
Yeah, that's the thing there that I guess parents are unable to recognize એ તો રડે જ છે આ ટાઈમ થાય મારો જવાનો ટાઈમ થાય એટલે રડતો જ હોય છે અને મીન્સ these are
Yes.
the common statement એને એક ચોકલેટ આપી દઉં છું એટલે પછી થોડી વારમાં ચૂપ થઈ જશે either they keeping in the child care or maybe wherever, but this is the basic thing which they start and the child goes to both are working, the child has to be in the daycare center, but the daily routine is he cries and then the parent doesn't notice that he's going through this for a longer period. So
Yes. So
that's
I
the
think
thing which.
observation and being vigilant, because we are working for our child's future. फ्यूचर का सोचते सोचते हम उनका प्रेजेंट खराब कर देते हैं.
Hmm,
So just
that's
be focused and observant about your own child. I'll not say just over pamper them or just
right.
give them whatever they want, but just
Hmm,
be vigilant whether they are doing it to grab your attention or it's a genuine concern. Like
hmm,
as you said, na, કે મારો ચાનો ટાઈમ થાય એટલે તું રડવાનું ચાલુ કરી દે.
હા,
બટ એને એ વખતે અટેન્શન જોઈએ છે તમારું, કે પછી એ વખતે એને એવી ઈચ્છા છે કે મમ્મી ચા પીએ એની સાથે મને ખોળામાં બેસાડે, હું રડવાનું
hmm,
બંધ કરી દઈશ. બે
hmm,
દિવસ એને ખોળામાં બેસાડો એટલે ત્રીજે દિવસે નહીં રડે, આવીને સીધો ખોળામાં બેસી જશે.
hmm,
This can happen only when you're observant about your child's behavior.
hmm.
So I hope we all can be that and just
Yeah,
keep one perspective in making their future, making their career. Just don't spoil their present. They are kids. They need to be loved and spend time with. So that
very
is
true.
how we need to figure and go ahead with it.
It's a game sort of thing when the child is just clinging towards mom, और वो कोई अजनबी आके उसको उठाना चाहता है, and then they don't go, and they say हमारे पास तो अभी गए जो हमारे पास से अभी गए, but the child is going through what?
You
They
are
just,
traumatizing the child.
हाँ, passing the parcel वाला है कि नहीं मेरे पास है अभी, और देखो मेरे पास ही रहना चाह रहा है. Even
This
that
is
I have
something
seen
which
that it
is,
happens. And the
it
child is
happens so
speechless
often.
apart from crying, वो कुछ नहीं करेगा.
I get that. And this is such a common thing. Like we all start feeling that, oh, Mari se paas to hai. But then whether the child wants it or not, come on. Verbalizing, not verbalizing, then that's how our society is. Or I think everybody's mentality is. So let it be.
Yeah.
But then
Lovely
anxiety,
talking to you, Ajab. This time also you gave us such a wonderful tips about separation anxiety and anxiety. Not only the issue related to toddlers, but teenagers and parents also face this, and how to recognize and when to visit the therapist. Everything. So that was so nice of you coming on our platform once again and sharing your views and your knowledge regarding this subject. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much, Sharmista, for giving me this opportunity again. And thank you so much to Parent Station that they are doing such an amazing work with awareness and also giving a beautiful insight about different things and different perspectives. I'll just have one sentence. The
Sure,
video which
sure.
we saw in the beginning before we started, it was so nicely made that I had a smile on my face while I was watching it. So
All
thanks to
credits to
Parent
our
Station.
founder, Miss Harsha Ramaiya.
Thanks to her, and it was really really nice being on your platform. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Bye.